Well, welcome to our last bonus masterclass. It's not the least though. We've we left the best to last. And I just want to introduce you to my amazing friend, Kylie Thompson. Kylie and I have actually known each other since 2009. Can you believe it? Going on what, 16 years now. We used to be working together at the National College of Business in Brisbane, and that's where we met. You know, life goes on, we go our different ways. And then January 2022, Kylie comes back into my radar, if you will. And she says, "Hey, Jeff, I want to go and pioneer this crazy thing called Dream Trips with me." And it's like, yeah, why not? I looked at it before, it wasn't the right time. Now's a perfect time. Because as you know, like after losing my business with Your Marketing Nerd during COVID, I was looking for something that I could step into and really just own and bring some purpose and joy that back to my life. You know, over the 15, 16 years, I've reached out to Kylie, and Kylie has been my go-to person to try and help mastering the marketing messages and social media. And, you know, she's been a valuable asset in that space. You know, and I'll let Kylie share her story in a second, but Kylie is the go-to person, especially here in Australia, when it came to mastering your marketing message. She's no longer business coaching because she's found her dream job as a skipper, and she's living the dream life out in the water in her mermaid environment. And I know that Kylie and I have worked very closely in this AI space over the last 2 years because, hey, as we know, you know, garbage in, garbage out, great stuff in, even better stuff out. And I know Kylie's just a magician. She's a master in this space. And when we work together, it's like, oh my God, look, this content is just like mwah, on point, right? So, Kylie, over to you. I'd love to you just to share your story before we unpack and dive into this masterclass.
Thank you so much, Jeff. What a beautiful intro. So, like, is that me? But hi, everyone. I see some familiar names and faces. It's awesome to be online with you guys. And yeah, look, Jeff, just so proud of you, legend, for how much I've seen you grow over the last feels like a gazillion years that we've been working together, but especially the last two since we've partnered with DreamTrips in our online business booster program. So, guys, I don't really want to talk a lot about myself, so I'll keep my story super short because I want to be able to add value to you guys. And if there's any questions that you have, please let this be interactive. I'm here to serve you and support you today. So if there's anything that you want to ask, just pop it into the chat. We'll moderate the questions and make sure that we get your questions answered. But look, I am almost 49 years of age and often being called a dreamer because I've always been about dreaming big and following my dreams, doing what makes my heart sing and getting paid to do what I love. And, you know, there's different chapters in our life where that changes, right? So I'll start kind of 20 odd years ago. 2001, I became a manager of a group of a gym and fell in love with the fitness industry. Before that, I'd been a Taekwondo instructor, a group fitness instructor, became a gym manager, and then within a couple of years owned my first gym, grew that to a group of 13 clubs in a relatively short space of time. And I did that because I was able to systemize my business. And for all of you, you're all here in business. You know, the number one key to being successful in business, apart from our mindset, which of course is, you know, incredibly important, it's having a system. You know, if we think about systems, McDonald's is, you know, the biggest, most successful system on the planet. Whether you like or love their burgers is irrelevant. They are a successful business model, and it's because they've systemized everything. And I had, you know, I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I was actually a store manager. So I went through all of the McDonald's training, and it was thanks to that training and understanding their systems and training model that I was able to replicate that into the fitness industry, which was how I was able to grow from one club to 13 clubs in 3.5 years. Now, I owned my first club for 5 years, but I also increased that model 300% in revenue in my first year. And then we continued to double our turnover every year in that 5 years, to the point we were completely systemized. I was able to franchise and then grow to a group of 13 clubs really quickly. And then we got offered to, we got bought out. And through that journey, even though I'd, been to university, done a double business degree. So I did human resource management. I was a HR manager first, got kind of bored with that. So very quickly, I had the opportunity to do a double major. So I decided to do marketing, which I just loved. And it's interesting because after studying uni for 8 years, I don't use any of that anymore. And where Jeff and I actually met is I was offered a free coaching session at the National College of Business on the Gold Coast. And I'd already bought my gym. I bought a gym when I wasn't actually a qualified personal trainer, because you didn't even have to be qualified back then. And so I thought, crap, I best be getting my butt down and get my ticket so I can actually train people, because, that's me. I just dive in with whatever I do. And so I literally looked up what was the fastest way to get my personal training qualification, which was at the sister college, which was the Australian Institute of Fitness. So I went down there, met the owners. They introduced me to their sister college, and I met a man called John Mailer, who was the owner. And Jeff and I spent a lot of time with John. And when I walked into the Australian Institute of Fitness and the National College of Business, I just felt like I was home. How they ran their businesses was so customer focused. And every time you went in there, they made you feel so damn special. And that was the exact experience that I was creating in my gyms. And so I felt there was a real synergy. And anyway, I got invited to do their 12-month business mentoring program. And I learned more about business and marketing in that 12-month program than I had in my 8-year business degree, because it was real stuff. It was street smart stuff, not, the crap that's going to work for multi-billion-dollar brands like Virgin and Coca-Cola. And so my eyes were really open to a different approach to business. And I think that's another key is, we're all conditioned to think this certain way. And one of the philosophies of the college that Jeff and I were a part of was whatever everyone else is doing, think the opposite. And really it's having that out of the box mindset and being ahead of the game that's actually going to make all the difference in your business. Now, so let's just take DreamTrips for a second, because I know most of you are in some online business. You're going to have some systems. So we also want to make sure we follow the system, but you want to do that in your way. And so after a year in that coaching program, was I think they used to call me the action queen or the implementation queen or something, because every month I implemented every single action plus a gazillion more. And it's why we had the fast success that we did. So it really laid a solid foundation for us. And at the end of the year, John Mailer approached me and said, would I come back and be a coach at the college? And within 6 months, I was the head coach, and then started our own coaching business and ended up selling my gyms. And then funny, I'm going to remind me, Jeff, I've got to tell you about Ken Smith, the incoming call I just had, because that's related to AI.
Yeah.
So I've got to circle back and my brain will forget. My menopause brain, people. So speaking of which, where was I? Sold the gyms. And look, this is the heart, right? I think one of the key things to be successful in business and life, it's a journey that I heard last night at my yin yoga class, is 3 handspans in distance. And that's the journey to go from our head to our heart. And so the way I ran my gyms was very much in my head. I was very much in my masculine, and it was all about making things happen. And we had an incredible life. We created incredible success. We had a multi-million-dollar income. And on the surface, it looked like we had it all. But I was dying on the inside. I was stressed to the eyeballs. I was completely out of alignment. I was disconnected with my husband, with my kids. I'd put on weight, even though I was in the health and fitness industry. And to be honest, I just woke up in a life I didn't sign up for. I was bloody miserable. And I think we were opening gym number 13. and my daughter was 6 at the time. And she said to me, "Mummy, all you ever do is work. You're always on your phone. You're always on your laptop. When are we going to have the fun, Mum? And when are we going to go on holidays?" And that was like a knife through my heart. And it was one of those moments in my life that was that real awakening, slap across the face, kick up the ass, whatever you want to call it. And in that moment, I made a decision, because here I was, creating this gym empire to, create a happy, healthy world and make this massive impact on the planet, when my own family and myself were suffering. I had a full-time nanny, and I just thought, this isn't the life I want to live anymore. I didn't have kids to palm them off to someone else. I want to be present, and I want to be the fun mum. So I made a decision to be the crazy fun mum, to travel the world with my kids, to make memories together, and that my business would have to serve me, that I was no longer going to be a slave to my business. And for everybody, it's so important that we start with the end in mind. Why did you get into your business in the first place? What your business is just a vehicle to give you the life, the income, and, the results that you're looking for, the wealth that you're looking for. And I think for all of us, we get so trapped and caught up in the what's so in the day to day, that sometimes we actually need to stop and take a step back. And it's why I love what, Jeff and I created together, and what Jeff's created with this program with ChatGPT, and being able to leverage technology and AI, is now like we can actually impact more people, but we can do that in less time by working smarter, not harder, keeping it super simple, superstar, and, creating a life we love and having it all. Because now with online, it is absolutely possible. So when I was introduced to DreamTrips, I was one of those anti-network marketers. I never wanted to be one of those people. And it took some convincing, I think 3 months of, I'm going to say, borderline stalking and harassment, to actually watch the damn video. And back then it was like an 1.5-hour video, not our little 4-minute video that we have now. And I just went, "You're shitting me." The top income earners are making $1.8 million a year getting paid to travel. Are you serious? Sign me up. Like, I'm going to eat this thing up. And so really the rest was history. I hit ranks pretty quickly. I, traveled the world. We did 33 trips in 3 years prior to COVID. But then, like everything, we have this journey in life that gives us the roller coaster of ups and downs and controversy and adversity, and all the things are sent to test us. And when COVID hit, of course, no one was traveling. And so everything that I'd built overnight, or within 2 months, crumbled to nothing. And I had to start again, which was for the second time. And as a double whammy, my husband at the time of 19 years decided he would leave me for someone else at the same time on Valentine's Day. So that was one of those, wow, the universe is really testing me. And I know Jeff has been tested ridiculously as well, especially in the last 12 months, and again, just recently. And, it's really the story of champions. The bigger the test, the greater the testimony. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the success at the other side. And we need those struggles in our life, because that's what strengthens us and actually allows us to grow into the leader that we need to be, to then be able to have the success on the other side. And I love that with every challenge, with every test, with every struggle, there's always a blessing. You've got to have the breakdown to have the breakthrough. And, that allows us to reset our mind, our body, and our soul, and really reset with our business. And I invite every one of you on this call today, and those of you catching the replay, have this be your moment, whatever it is within my story that resonates with you. What needs to be reset today? And maybe it's a disempowering story that you're telling yourself, that you can't do this, you're not good enough, you don't have blah, 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 whatever it is, whatever your I've run out of peanut butter story is. Today's your day to reset, but it's also your day to actually go within, get out of your head and into your heart. Maybe go into nature for half an hour today, whether it's the mountains, the ocean, whatever your thing is, water the garden, and actually go into your heart and say, what is it that I really want for myself, for those important people in my inner circle, partner, family, kids, closest friends, and what's the impact that I want to make on the world? And I call it, you've got to love you, and you being an acronym, love yourself, others, and the universe, in that order. And make sure that your business, which is just a vehicle, is still in alignment and can actually deliver on what it is that you want and how you want to make an impact on this planet. Because if you're not in alignment with your business, and your business is in alignment with your core values and your vision, it's never going to work. We could give you all the best marketing strategies on the planet. And sometimes, and I know that there's a couple of familiar faces, not calling anyone out because I'm calling myself out. Sometimes if you've actually been out of activity or out of action with your own business, it can feel impossible to get restarted. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to reset within and go into your heart, figure out what is it that you want, how do you want to make an impact to others in the universe, make sure that your business is in alignment. And if it's not, maybe there's some tweaks and adjustments you can make within your existing business, or maybe you just need to go trade it in on a whole new business model. Like, for example, DreamTrips, you can get started for like $80. So, it doesn't cost you thousands of dollars to go buy a new business. All of our gyms used to be at least $500,000 investment, to make $30,000 a month. I look at what we have with DreamTrips, and like, there's a reason why that's what I'm focusing on these days. And as Jeff said, just to wrap up that part of the story, one of my dreams, one of my top 5 goals that I set last year and as part of my vision is, I have a dream when my son finishes school. He's started year 8 this year, so he's got 5 years left of school. I would love to buy a yacht, brand new. It's $2.6 million, a Leopard 50, and I would love to sail the world with my forever soulmate sailor, who I have not yet met, and live the dream sailing the world. But I figured to be able to do that, I needed to, what could I do now that can help me with that dream 5 years from now? So last year I went and did my coxswain and became a commercial skipper. And now I get paid to play in paradise, in the most beautiful part of the world. I'm doing what I love every day. I'm learning and growing and getting the confidence, the experience, and the skills that I need to be able to actually fulfill on my dream that's 5 years from now.
Wow.
And so that's the other thing that I love about an online business. Once you figure this shit out and it's systemized and it's leveraged with the right AI tools and technology, you should be able to live that 4-hour work week. You should be able to do your business in, I call it the 10K club, less than 10 hours a week, making 10K or more a year, having 10 or more amazing holidays, and 10xing your life. Like, really, that's what business is all about. And if you can't do that, you possibly have the wrong vehicle. All right, Jeff, that was a very long-winded story with a few little tangents.
I had this whole agenda for today's conversation, and now that's out the window. I love it when you and I connect, because we just get to that heart-to-heart level, and this is where we get in our genius zone, guys, and this is the magic that Kylie and I create together. And that's why I just sat back and let Kylie go for it, like, the last 15 minutes just sharing her story there, because I want to break that down. The whole theme about today's conversation is about mastering your marketing message, right? And Kylie knows me too well, and she knows where I'm going with this. But there's so many elements in the power of story that Kylie just shared with us. So I want to break that down a bit into the components there, Kylie, because I know that when it comes to storytelling, stories compel, facts tell, and I don't think there's anybody better in my circle of influence who's a better storyteller than you are. So I say that with a lot of praise, because, as you know, I've got a lot of powerful storytellers in my life, and you have just a knack, as a gift in this space. So, there's some really powerful stuff that just hit home here. Like, I've got comments here, Larry, that hit home, awesome, Kylie, we seriously hit home, Jade. And like, yeah, like, this is the shit that I've been talking about for the last 12 weeks, that this is the heart-to-heart level conversation, right? And by Kylie just sharing her story, unpacking the the pain, the vulnerability of it all, the rawness, the authenticity of it all. That's her story. Nobody can compete with that. So, Kyle, let's break it down a bit. So, what would you say are the structure, the key elements for our ChatGPT Unleashed heroes here to be able to go and formulate their story?
Yeah, look, really, really great question, Jeff. So for all of you, the first thing is you need to, and I'm going to swear if you're upset with that, like you're just gonna have to deal with it for a second. You've just got to get fucking real. I think the biggest problem that frustrates the fuck out of me when it comes to marketing is people are trying to be so perfect and polished and professional and pretty and, get it right and follow the formula. Like, seriously, after what have I had now? Well, I guess nearly 30 years of marketing, throw all that shit out the window. And the number one thing you need to do is just get real. Go into your heart, be authentic and be vulnerable, right? Like, funny side story, but it totally relates. So I'm single. I'm on an online dating app. Meet this guy. He seems really successful, really great, really strong, really smart, all the things. And I'm like, just not connecting with this guy. It's like, why am I not attracted to this man? And then last night, he sent me the most beautiful, heartfelt message where he actually got out of his head into his heart. He let down the defenses. He opened up and was so vulnerable. And guys, write this down. Vulnerability is the greatest form of courage. Vulnerability is the greatest form of courage. And it's also your number one best friend when it comes to marketing and sharing your story.
Amen. Because
people buy you before they buy your product or service. And when you have the courage to be vulnerable and share your struggles in a world where everyone's trying to look good and say, hey, look at me, it's not relatable. Everybody loves an underdog story. Everyone loves to hear the struggle, but we don't want to be a victim or a drama queen and leave people in the struggle. Like you would have heard throughout my story that I shared at the beginning, I haven't even shared all of it. I've shared elements of the struggle and the frustrations, but then I've shared what I did and how I actually got through to the other side. So there's always three, look, you could break it down to 10 parts, but there's three key parts in sharing your story. The first one is sharing the struggle. And it's sharing the struggle, and I'm sure Jeff has done this work with you guys, sharing the struggle that your niche or your target audience are dealing with. Because in your life, you'll have had a gazillion struggles, but they're not all relevant to the niche that you're serving in your current business. So you've got to make sure that the part of your story and the part of your struggle you're sharing is actually congruent and in alignment with your business and your niche and where they're at before they start working with you. Because then it's relatable, because people then go, you get me. So little side part, 20 years in the health and fitness industry. And, I've struggled with my weight on and off most of my life, put on weight, lose it, put on weight, lose it. And I can tell you now, if I walk into a gym and there's a 21-year-old Barbie doll personal trainer, there's no fucking way I want to train with that person, because they don't get it. They don't understand. They haven't been through the struggle. They haven't had kids. They haven't been through or going through menopause. They just don't know. They might have studied it in a textbook. Whereas when I share my story, I could open my books tomorrow as a personal trainer and be booked out within a week, possibly sooner, because people know my story, they know my struggle, and people trust me because I'm open enough to share that. And because I've been through that struggle and got through to the other side, they then know that you can help them. Because remember, people there's 4 beliefs. Have you done this, Jeff? The 4 beliefs?
No, go for it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I've touched on it. No, go deep into it.
Okay, so this is part of a sales process. And sorry, guys, I talk fast. There's lots of stuff coming at you. So Jeff, rein me in if you need to. There's 4 beliefs that people need before they will buy from you. So the number one thing is they need to believe in you. They need to trust that you're the right person that can help them. And the only way they're going to get that belief is if you get out of your head and into your heart and have the courage to be vulnerable and share your story, but sharing the struggles, sharing the stuff that you're actually too embarrassed to share because someone might judge you. No, that's where you need to go. That's the stuff that people need to know about because they feel the same way. And when you have that courage to share that part of your story, then they know, love, and trust you. It's relatable, and then they'll take the next step. So that's the first belief. They need to have belief in your product or service or offering. So that's where you need to be really clear on that marketing message of what's my big promise? What are my 3 key points that you are delivering on when someone works with you? I call it the caterpillar to butterfly. Jeff calls it Sucksville to Awesome Town, whatever you want to call it, before and after, whatever your words are.
Transformational outcome.
So then the third one is they actually need to believe that now is the right timing. And that comes down to your marketing message to make sure that you're creating the urgency. And the best way to create urgency is to create pain. And the best way to create pain is to share your struggles because then it's relatable. And the best way to share that is through stories. So it's linking back to that. And the last one, and this is again comes back to stories, is they have to believe in themselves that they can actually get the result by working with you. And if people, so for example, in the fitness industry, people have spent thousands of dollars joining gyms, paying for weight loss programs, engaging trainers and not got results. So then they actually think that, it doesn't matter what I do, I can't lose weight. Or growing their business. I've spent thousands of dollars on coaches and programs and courses and tools and shit that I haven't been able to figure out and haven't got a result. So I can't do this. So you need to create stories through your own experience and people who you've already worked with and share those stories that, hey, Mary Jo, she had tried everything and nothing worked. She was at the point she was ready to give up on her dream, her goal, blah, blah, blah. But then she found our product or service. She started doing this. And even though she was adamant, she didn't believe in herself and she didn't think she could, oh my gosh, look at her now. And so you're sharing a story that's actually touching on each of those 4 beliefs, because until you get those 4 beliefs covered and put to bed, they're never going to buy from you. Did I answer the question that you actually asked me to answer?
We went off on a tangent. It's all good, but it's all part of it.
Bring me back in.
So we started off with the components and the elements of a really powerful story.
Yeah.
We started off with sharing your pain, your vulnerability, and that whole beliefs component right there. People pay tens of thousands of dollars for training just on that component right there. So that is just worth its weight in gold for today's conversation. But you can take that component and put that in to how you share your pain story and all of that sort of thing and highlight that. So we're going from your pain. Where do we go to from here?
And I think when you're just going back to the pain is you also want to take out the emotion and just bring it back to what were the facts. Like write out the story. Jeff and I did a program called the Landmark Forum. And in the advanced course, you go through this thing where you figure out what's your act, which is the thing that kind of holds you back. It's your way of showing up when times get tough and you're under the pump. And so part of the process to get complete around that is you write your story of all the things that, you're unhappy about that have been done to you, all the, the unfairness, but you get to be a victim and you get to write it out and be a victim again and write it out and write it out and write it out. And then what you do is you start reading through it, and you want to read through it from the perspective of your ideal client and what's not relevant. What can you slash out, slash and burn, start taking it out till you actually get down to this really concise, powerful story that actually moves people. And so I'd encourage you, you guys could, I'm presuming you're all in a Facebook group, write it all out in the Facebook group, but then strip it back and actually critique each other. You know what? I fell asleep reading that, slash and burn. Oh my gosh, that was so powerful. I love this part. Get rid of that part. And again, make sure that you're writing a story that's relevant to your niche. So when you're sharing a story, and before I jumped on this call with Jeff, I asked a question and I said, who's in the room? So out of everyone that's going to be online and catching the replay, like who's who? What do they do? And so Jeff basically gave me the three categories of businesses. So I know that you're all here because you all have an online business of some kind. And so then when I was able to speak to you guys and I shared my story, I was able to share it in a way that was relatable because I know you're all business owners, so I can share the business stuff. And I know that you're all wanting to be part of ChatGPT because you want to leverage your business, right? Like you're in business to make your business work for you, to make a greater impact. So when I was sharing my story, I was able to share that in a way that actually was relatable. And I know that there were a couple of you in the comments. So Jade and someone else, Jade and Larry, you both actually used the words. Jade said, seriously hit home for me. And Larry said, that was awesome and hit home. Like that, when you are sharing your story and you're doing any type of communication on social media, like you really got to stop and say, what's the intention? Because most people just love to talk about themselves. But when you talk about yourself, you need to be speaking to serve, speaking to connect, speaking to add value, but speaking to add value to connect with your target audience.
Love that.
So with any post, like honestly, the amount of shit, I actually have been off social media the last 2 months. I was just at the point I was just so done. I have spent virtually no time on social media for 2 months and I feel so much better. It's amazing. So we all need a good social media cleanse from time to time. But do you know what? I've still got my AI bot that sends out all my birthday messages every single day to all my peeps. I'm still leveraging, ChatGPT and AI so I can still have a presence online, even though I'm not physically on there for the hours a day that I have been in the past. So you can have a social media presence. I mean, I've got 3 people joining my DreamTrips business this week, and I've done pretty much nothing. But I have done enough posts that people have reached out to connect with me. So again, it's the power of story and you showing up in a way that people go, I want what she's having. I want what he's having. And people see my life. They know I'm living the dream. And they're like, man, I want something different in my life. You're the person I'm going to reach out to because you're consistently showing up in a way that, is consistent and congruent with what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's really powerful. There's loads of just value just right there, right? And the big thing that hit home for me too is like, because Kylie has shown up and she's shined and she's served for so long. Like Kylie has been on social media every day for the last 8 years, as far as I know, and not just once a day, like sharing powerful stories, and she's planted loads of seeds of value in people's heart. And so it gave her almost permission to be able to unplug for 2 months and still have obviously AI and automation in the background kicking over to be able to continue the story, to be able to continue the conversation. And the other big part here that's really jumped home for me too is just to highlight is you share your story to the right people, to the right audience. So we all know the power of niching down now and what that helps us to be able to create and value in a way that speaks directly to people's hearts, that hits home, right? It's speaking directly to them so they can relate and resonate. But then, some of us get stuck in this cycle that we just need to get front-end customers, front-end customers, front-end customers, front-end customers. And we forget about the seeds that we've already planted and don't nurture the seeds that we've already planted, don't water those seeds that we've already planted. And it's us getting on social media day in, day out. And this really drives home this point for me too. This is why we show up and shine and we share our story continued, right? Like, for example, Kylie last year is sitting in her dream, like right now, she's sitting in her dream house. But I remember the story that she went through and the pain, the struggle, the challenges, the trials, the tribulations that it took for her to buy her dream treehouse. And Kylie shared that story very powerfully. Even the times that it was challenging, she shared it from a victor's story, not a victim story. So there's one key lesson there. And she continued to share the chapters of her life. Like, guys, this is reality TV on steroids. we can use this and leverage this to share our story, to connect to our people, to serve our tribe. And that's why I just love everything Kylie represents, because she is the master at that. And now, Kylie, I just want to sort of transition into maybe a little bit of AI conversation, then we'll open it up for a bit of a Q&A. I'm sure there's loads of questions here booming away. I know I would be. So let's just, how would you say you use AI in this space to help you to maximize your efficiency and get an even better, more, not a polished result, but a better, more efficient, effective result online? So how do you use AI in that space?
Yeah, I love it. So look, first and foremost, and this isn't chatbots, it's another AI tool, is every day, all of my birthday messages go out. And it's a message that I've crafted, but the AI tool sends it out to the world. And I said I'd circle back to Ken. It's his birthday today, and my bot sent him a happy birthday message. And he's someone who I actually was thinking I needed to follow up with to talk to about dream trips. And now he rang me literally as I jumped on this call.
There you go.
So that's a fantastic tool that is available that, at the end of the day, when it comes to growing our business, it's all about having connecting heart-to-heart conversations. So marketing is just a way to generate a lead, and attraction marketing with ChatGPT has never been easier than it has been before. People used to pay me to write their posts. Now they just chuck it into ChatGPT, or they use my post like Jeff and throw it into ChatGPT and get it reworded for your brand, which is amazing. But then the money is made in Messenger. So what you then need to do is get them into Messenger, or get them on a phone call, or get them on a Zoom, and actually have that connected heart-to-heart conversation. And I'll circle back to the question, but just when you have a conversation though, you need to follow, I call it the GROW model. So what's their goal, or what's the result that they want? What's their reality right now? So what's the pain, the problem, the struggle, the challenge? And then what are all their options moving forward? So, okay, well, what are you going to do to get from where you are to where you want to be? Or do you have a plan to be able to get through that? Or do you need some help? And then, hey, are you open to having a look at, another option, where to from here? So it's the W, where to from here, or what action are we going to take next? Which then your business can be the vehicle to help them get from that reality that they're struggling with, and to be able to short track that and save them time, energy, and money to get the result or the goal that they want through whatever it is that you're offering. So I find that those birthday messages are absolute gold, because I've got, 3,500, 4,000 friends on Facebook. So you divide that by 365, that's at least 10 marketing messages every single day that are going out there. I'm going to actually share one more thing, and I'll come back to your AI question, Jeff. Sorry, because I actually did this morning, and I haven't even shared it yet, but I was actually planning on sharing this into our group chat for Dream Trips today. But there's a post. No, it doesn't want to show the post. Bugger. Have you guys seen that post where the girl, she's in the pool, she's at, I think, the World Championships for, what is it when they dance under the water? What's that called?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name off the top of your head.
Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yep.
Anyway, I've seen this post go around before, and basically the girl passes out under the water, and her coach realizes she's missing, so she dives in, and she fully clothed, and obviously she saves her life, and she gets her out of the water. And the context of the post is, when we can't fight for ourselves, who are the people who are showing up to care, to check in? Who's diving in to save you? And are you diving in to check in on and save others, right? Because at the end of the day, we're in business to make an impact to people. Well, how are you doing that? Are you actually showing up because you care and genuinely connecting with people, or are you just doing 1,000 posts and, hoping something sticks? So something I did this morning is I read that post for, probably the 20th time, and something hit my heart today. And this is the other thing in business. We've got to do business with our hearts, do business from a place of love and integrity. And that post, instantly there were 3 people that popped into my mind that I thought, I haven't seen or heard from these particular 3 people for a little bit. I'm going to dive in and check in and see how they're going. So I literally copied the link to the post, and I won't mention names, but I'll just say, hey, you, Happy New Year. I read this post this morning and it made me think of you. So I'm diving in to check on you, say hey, and make sure you're okay. Now, could we not send that post to 5 people a day?
Of course we could.
Like marketing 101, show up as a human first who cares and actually make an impact. And, you know, anyway, that wasn't an AI thing, but it just popped into my brain. So,
Yeah, look, yeah, and my AI brain turns on and is like, oh yeah, I can see how you can use AI to do that.
that's
So,
it, right?
and this is the thing, right? This is what Kylie and I used to work so well in this place, especially with our Biz Booster program that we used to run, is Kylie would come up with all these great ideas, and then I go in my technical brain and I go, oh, okay, I know how to make that automated now. So, like, just for example, you could take that concept that Kylie just shared with you, and you could use your AI templates, you know, that I've shown you, and just say, hey, look, I want you to create a heartfelt personal message. Here's my bullet points, and just personalize it to this person, to that person, this person. And you can use AI to help you generate that heartfelt message within 5 seconds. And you know, and it's still your words, right? Because we've taught the AI to be like you. It's just it's a ghostwriter of you. And yeah, this is how I used to do, how I still do my prayer request. People reach out to me and say, Jeff, can you pray into this specific pain, this specific problem? I'll tell you a little secret. I actually don't write the prayers anymore myself personally. I get AI to do it. And I just, you know, take the concept and I say, okay, look, this is actually a really heartfelt prayer that would work really well for 3 or 4 other people. And just, yeah, I just want you to make this slight adjustment to personalize it to each person. So here's the key thing, right? Is yes, reach out to people. Yes, start the conversations, because all we know from the business perspective, our conversions happen in the conversations. But as Kylie said, show up and be a real human first. And I had to learn that going through the amateur way, as Kylie and I fell flat on my face.
Stop selling, start connecting and serving.
Start connecting. So, you know, I really mastered the art of connecting first, and then just showing up and being a real human being. And you know, as I say, I measure each day on the amount of seeds of how much value I can plant into people's hearts. And then let's see what happens from there. I'm, you know, just detach myself from the result. But conversions happen in conversations, you know, so it starts with a conversation. It starts with sharing your heart. And there are so many key lessons and elements in this. But anyway, I want to get out of coach mode. I want to be into facilitator mode right now. So let's open it up for a Q&A. Kylie, do you have any last words of wisdom that you want to add, or we just don't?
Yeah, so just quickly, so coming back to AI and how I leverage it. So for example, for those of you who are actually doing this work for other businesses kind of as an agency, because I know I've got a few of you online. And for those of you in network marketing, obviously you will bring people into your teams that you'll be supporting as a leader as well. So I actually launched my son. He wanted an electric scooter, which is an $1,800 purchase, and Mama Bear wasn't going to cough up the bill. And I said, well, you need to figure out how to make the money. He's like, oh, Mom, I'm only 13. I can't get a job. I said, oh, well, you have to start a business. He's like, what can I do? I'm like, well, you're passionate about cars. You've been washing my car and a friend's car. Like, start a car washing business in LA Beach. He's like, So I use ChatGPT for everything. I taught Zach how to use it. He's 13. And we literally, you know, the way that it writes, we get it to speak like a 13-year-old boy who's an Aussie, who's an absolute car fanatic, who's fun and cheeky. And honestly, we have had so many people go, oh my God, Zach, your marketing is amazing. And we also are really honest. So Zach replies and goes, yeah, I know it's great, isn't it? I didn't even write it. I just put it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT writes all my posts for me. And people are like, what? And because it's all about owning it. Be fun, be cheeky, right? Because I think with ChatGPT, you can also go too far.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got to also pull it back because it can be a bit too OTT. And that just pisses people off and drives them away as well. So you got to remember, who is it that you're serving? You want to have that brand, but also you don't want to overdo it because that can also work against you. So obviously for social media posts, it's a no-brainer because once you've trained the bot, and I know that Jeff's got all the prompts, I'm sure you're all over that to get it trained up. Like the way that it can spit out content and do, you know, a month's worth of social media content is ridiculous. But in saying that, I actually love to write. I'm a writer and it's part of my therapy. It's one of the things that I really love to do. So I still do a lot of my posts, just being real. But if I'm doing posts for other people, I always use ChatGPT. But if I then want to turn that into a Facebook Live, I'll say, hey, you know, ChatGPT, can you turn this, give me an outline for a Facebook Live? Or I'm going to do a masterclass on this topics. This is my thoughts. This is my ideas, you know, give me an agenda. I've also, at the beginning of this year, turned, you know, I decided it's my last year in my 40s. I want to look hot and sexy to attract my dream man and look amazing for my 50. And so I decided to become a vegan, which I started on the 1st of January. Well, who did I go for all of the info and meal plans and recipes and shopping lists? ChatGPT. So it's not just business and marketing. You can actually use it to leverage your time and make life easier as well. So really, I think we are just scratching the surface with what these tools can do and what's available to us. And, you know, I would just say every week, like what's one thing, you know, we used to talk about the 4 Ds. So we all get overwhelmed. We all get busy. We've all got crazy lives. There's so much shit being thrown at us these days. And so when you're feeling that way, like number one, what can you just delete and stop doing out of your schedule to free up some space? Number two, what can you delegate or outsource? Well, there's a lot of shit that you'll be doing and probably wasting way too much time, energy, and brain power on that you could delegate and outsource to your ChatGPT. And I like to treat our ChatGPT as a real person. So with Zach's one, he's called ChatterBuddy. We had a whole conversation about naming the chat bot. And so ChatterBuddy is it. And we have conversations every day. And it's incredible how much value he can add. He, she, whatever your name of your bot is. And I also like to have manners and use respect and treat ChatGPT as if he or she is a real team member in your business. And you know, start looking at what else can you delegate or outsource to ChatGPT. Then the next part of the 4 Ds, just to complete that before we go to live Q&A, is diarize. If it's not in your diary or if it's not in the calendar, it's probably not going to happen. And so that's super important. And you can actually ask ChatGPT to help you with that. Oh my goodness, I'm so busy. My life's out of control. I've got to do all these things. Can you help me create a schedule? Guess what? That tool can do that too. It can do everything that you ask it to do. It's pretty amazing. And then the last one is to do it. You actually need to have integrity. You need to honor your word and do what you said you were going to do by when and how you said you would do it. And I'm going to have a really tough conversation straight up with all of you. I'm looking you all in the eyes. Your business is a reflection of you. And the only reason you don't have the income, the results, the lifestyle that you want is because you're out of integrity, because integrity is the foundation of all results. So the number one thing that you need to do after this call today is actually go have a look in the mirror and have a conversation with the person that you're looking at and say, right, call yourself out on your bullshit. Call yourself out on the stories that you're creating in your mind and all the excuses and reasons why you're not where you want to be. And the only person that can change it is you. No one's coming. And I promise you, you can have absolutely anything that your heart desires. Because if you can dream it, you can achieve it. It's just a matter of figuring out how. But it all starts with you and being real and calling yourself out on the BS. No more stories, no more excuses. And actually just go do what you know you need to do. And if there's something you need to do that you don't know how to do, figure it out. Find someone who knows that you can, you know, get help and support with. Obviously, you have an incredible resource here with Jeff. We have an incredible resource with ChatGPT. You know, you guys have an incredible mastermind that you can connect with each other it's not a lack of resources. It's just a lack of you not being resourceful enough. All right. I didn't mean to end on that note, but that was a bit of a pow, kick
This
ass.
is why you call Kick-Ass Kylie, right? Kick-Ass with love. Love it. Thank you, Kylie.
You're
Wow.
welcome.
Well, this has been a massive, awesome, value-based masterclass, And guys, just to quickly before we go into Q&A and a bit of a wrap up, guys, if you want more of this, well, this is when you got to, reach out to me for our continuity program. This is the sort of, level of masterclass that we're going to be bringing to you on a continue once a month basis. So make sure if you're not already plugged into the continuity program, reach out, let's have a conversation, and I can walk you through that. But hey, enough of that for right now. Let's bring it back to the Q&A, and then I just want to do a bit of a 20-second wrap up. Like, what was your key lesson from today's conversation? And more importantly, what are you going to do to apply that lesson moving forward? So first off, open slather. Who's got any burning questions that they want to get answered?
Don't be shy. If you're thinking it, pick it.
Shayna. Yes, Shayna.
Hey, Shayna, how are you, lovely?
Hi, I'm good, Kylie. How are you?
Good, darling. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Okay. How do you get the bot to send out birthday messages?
Yeah, so look, I'm on a subscription tool. I think my bot's $37 US a month to send those out. I'm pretty sure Jeff has got the link for that. Okay. So Jeff, I'm sure, can help you out and give you the link. It's pretty easy to get set up. That particular bot has multiple things that it does. And I did have and I know Jeff has played with a lot of the different tools within the scope of that technology. Personally, right now, I'm only using it for the birthday messages, but I have used it for a whole heap of other suite of tools as well. I actually had to turn it off because it was generating so much business and so many leads and so many new connections that I was like, whoa. But I love the birthday messages because it's just that consistency. So yeah, you literally just sign up and then get it set up. It takes like 5 minutes, maybe half an hour actually, to set it up properly. Because you got to create your messages and then you turn it on and it just works in the background.
Okay, cool. Do you want me to do my thing, my spiel to Jeff?
No, we'll come back around that. So let's see if anybody else has got any burning questions. Yeah, Larry, you got your hand up. Let's go.
Hey, Larry, how you going, legend?
Hey, good. How's it going? So here's my question. So I've used the prompts and I love the prompts.
Yep.
But I got a lot of response. There was something happened, and one day I just said, okay, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to really nail down my target market's pain points, really pound on, and I think I mentioned this to Jeff. And I got an awesome post, and I got awesome responses.
Yeah.
But other times I've tried it and it hasn't worked so well. And I'm not exactly sure why, because it's kind of the same prompt, but I'll change the topic, or, hey, this is happening. Let's put something out about this.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips on how to make that more consistent?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things around that. So ChatGPT is only as good as the questions that you ask. So questions are the answers. And so when ChatGPT answers, don't always go with their first response. So for example, sometimes with the post for Zach's business, I'll say, oh, chatter buddy, like seriously, that's way too salesy, or that's way too like Aussie, what do you call it? Yeah, like let's pull it back a bit. Let's make it shorter. No, we want to really hit the heartstrings. Here's an element of my story. Can we weave that into that? Here's one of my other clients I've worked with. This was their pain story. Can you weave that into the content? And the other thing is rinse and repeat. When you've got stuff that really works, you can put that post back into ChatGPT and say, I had a really great response to this post. Can you reword this for this niche with these elements? And, you don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time, because you've got to remember, we have these millions of messages every day that are coming at us, and no one is reading every single one of your posts. I promise you. Sorry if that bruises egos, but no one's waking up in the morning going, oh, what's on Kylie Thompson's Facebook page today? Like, it just doesn't happen, right? Even people who are following me, and it'll be the same for you. But consistency and rinse and repeat. It's seeing that same message consistently over time. Like, you could literally have a 1 to 30 day posting schedule for the month, and then rinse and repeat it the following month, and just pretty much have the same stuff. And if you've got posts that have really worked, throw those back in, pop a different graphic on it, and put it back up. Because sometimes it's not the content, sometimes it might be the graphic that's actually attracting or repelling people. It could be the first line, because obviously that's what's going to capture their attention. We've got a split second when people are scrolling. It can also be the time of day. It can also be the day of the week. So I would go back to that post and look at the posts that have had that really high engagement, and then also look at who were all the people that engaged, what were their demographics? Can we hone that in? You know what? All the people who I got a really good response from in that post, they were all males in their 40s or whatever it is. And then that can also help you define your niche to be able to further, nail that marketing message as well.
Cool. Thanks.
Really good value. Yeah. Thanks, Kylie. Lots of value there. Cool.
Welcome.
All right. Well, open it up for one more question, and then we'll go through and do a bit of a highlight wrap up. Anybody else got a burning question that needs an answer? Thanks, Shana.
The only silly question is the one you don't ask peeps.
All right. Going once. Going twice. All right. Sold to the highest bidder. All right. Dave, LSD Marketing. Dave Miller, my mate. Are you able to unmute yourself, or are you working in the background there?
All of the above.
All of the above. Dave's got a job, and he's building his business on the side here, but he uses his time and his job to build his business too.
I love it. Hey, Dave,
actually,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Kylie. It was smarter this week. I just had 2 sickies, Monday and Tuesday. That's it. So
there you go.
I don't even have to be in the office. I can concentrate on doing what really matters. Yeah, exactly. Which is, well, you know what I'm doing anyway.
Well, mate, as we both know, we can both talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles, talking to a deaf dog at the corner of a round table. So let's keep this intentional. What is your 30-second wrap up, like your light bulb moment from today's conversation, and what are you going to do to apply that lesson moving forward?
Well, I think the light bulb moment for me was pretty much all of it, really. There's a lot of it in there. That just kept hitting and going, bing, bing, bing. But I suppose, I guess just obviously taking it from the heart. That's probably the biggest thing for me. And just putting that where it belongs. And just what I'm going to do is go back and ask a few. And the other thing was just probably asking better questions and telling more of my story. So I think that's what I really need to focus on with my posts and stuff like that, is creating more stories, probably more about me than just my potential clients and that sort of stuff. So that would be the
personalize it, mate. Be more vulnerable. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep, that'll be it for me.
Dave, I love that. And I think for everyone, the key to remember is people do business with people.
Yeah.
And they do business with people who they know, love, and trust, right? And so the more you share of you, your business is just an extension of you. That's it. It's just the vehicle to help you to make the impact, to make the income, and to create the lifestyle and wealth that you want to make. But ultimately, people are doing business with you. Like the amount of businesses that I've set up, built up, and sold as a successful business, and then the new income, the new business owner has come in and ran them into the ground. A couple of them have actually bought back and then rebuilt them up, because, it's the people. And if, you're not showing up as a human first and allowing people to get to know you and love you, like our local gym here, I love our local gym. I know the owners very well, but I look at them, there's no connection and there's no community, and they don't care. Like, it's just so clinical. It's a great gym, but it doesn't have the heart. And when you can create that in your business, really, that's when your business will go next level.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I do that in my day job with all who I work for, all their clients. I've got really good relationships with those. I just need to transform that into the online world and my potential clients. So
and Dave, look, you're not
happening.
alone there, Dylan. I think there are so many people, especially with online businesses, that they're hiding behind the computer. And, they're using that brand to kind of shield themselves. And we want to drop the mask and actually show up and be real and be raw and be authentic and be vulnerable, because that's your point of difference. No one else can do that but you. And that is the secret sauce. It really is.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I've been very appreciative with Jeff teaching us along the way, is getting out from behind my business brand, LSD marketing, and putting me there and, building up the courage to do slowly but surely more reels, more videos with me being involved as opposed to
honestly,
doing them all
people
the
love
time.
the face behind the brand. And even if they're really goofy, like one of my former business partners, Glenn Taylor, if you look up on TikTok, he's just started, he's posting consistently and honestly, I laugh. Some of them are so goofy and pathetic, they're ridiculous. I just go, oh my God. But he's getting a really good following and it's building his business. I think it's called Tailor Made Chaos. He's an equipment supplier to the fitness industry and a really great guy. He has a heart of gold, has zero camera presence. Honestly, even the way he speaks on camera, I actually watch them for the entertainment value. It's hilarious. But I'm so freaking proud of him because he keeps showing up. Is putting himself out there. And, if it hasn't already, I know it's going to absolutely, make an incredible difference, not just in his business, but in our industry as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really proud of you that you're doing that. So keep it up.
Kylie, do you remember my first few videos that I did on a green screen back in 2010?
Every master was once a disaster. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great.
Exactly.
Sorry, you're going to say something?
Doesn't matter now. It's gone. That was more entertaining. So, I think it was just that sometimes I think we worry too much about having everything in place and perfect prior to doing it. And like you just said, you got to start somewhere. The sooner you start, the more traction you're eventually going to get. You just got to do it. That's
and Dave, the thing is, if it's too perfect, it's not relatable.
Correct.
People actually how often do you stay at the end of a movie to watch the blooper reel? Because the blooper reels are funny, right?
Yeah,
they're hilarious.
Right, exactly.
So actually put that shit up. That's when people laugh. That's, the stuff that really, connects and adds value and entertains and engages. So, sometimes the bad ones are actually the best ones.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Thank you. It's been an awesome
welcome.
session.
Matthew Kingsley, my mate from Nevada. How are you going, champ?
Hey, Matt. How are you, gorgeous man?
I'm doing great. Thank you. This was awesome. I was trying to write fast, but I couldn't do it.
Well, it's been recorded.
So just get the recording, put it through whatever technology program, get the transcript.
Absolutely. Jeff's on it. I know it.
So, man, what was your highlight, like one sort of key lesson that you took away from today's conversation?
Well, it was all of it was very inspiring, and it really resonated with me. All the way up to the point of getting my butt kicked. So,
hey, we all need every now and then. Even Kylie needs her butt kicked every now and then.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been spending a lot of time doing some other things to try and focus on what I'm doing. Now I'm getting back into ChatGPT and getting back into the course and building that up now.
Good.
So, yep.
Cool.
Matt, taking action in your business, it's a bit like going to the gym. At first you're like, I don't want to go. It's going to hurt. I hate it. I'm so unfit, blah, 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 blah. And you got to drag your ass to the gym and it hurts like hell. And you're like, oh my God, this is so hard. But remember, it takes 21 days of being consistent to break old habits and form new habits. And today's the 23rd of January. So I've now done 3 weeks of, training, vegan, no alcohol. And honestly, before we clicked over to this year, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to do this. It's going to be so hard. I now feel so good, so light, so healthy, so freaking energized and ready to, you know, conquer the world. And now I'm thinking, maybe I won't do this for 30 days. Like maybe I'll keep going. I don't know how long for, but, and it's the same with your business. You know, it's like you got to build that muscle, and it feels hard because you're consciously having to do it. But when you keep consistently doing it every single day, all of a sudden it's just done. And it's so easy and effortless. And it's like, wow, like look how far I've come in that time frame. And make sure that you know, reaching out to Jeff and your community here so that you've got that accountability, because that's the only reason you won't get results is you're actually not taking the action and you're not being consistent.
Yeah, consistency is key. That's the definite part of it. I've been showing up and doing my best on a consistent manner. Now that I've got one thing out of the way, I mean, there's a lot to this business. There's so many different resources and things that you can use to leverage your business and create it stronger and better. But the biggest thing, like you said, is consistency. It's showing up and shining and getting out of your comfort zone, being vulnerable.
And Matt, the other thing, I think we can get overwhelmed because there are so many things and so many tools. And that's where you've also got to actually get some shit off your plate. Like, for example, like how many social media platforms are there? Like there's lots, right? I focus purely on Facebook as my primary platform. Now, my posts, a lot of my Facebook posts automatically go to Instagram as well. I hardly even jump on Instagram. I don't love Instagram. It's not my thing. I still have a presence there, but I don't energize that. You know, YouTube is my secondary platform, kind of starting to play a little bit with TikTok, but really I've just focused and get rid of all the rest. And even like I said earlier, like I had multiple AI tools that I was using. Well, I've stripped a lot of those out now, and I only use the birthday bot. So again, you got to try them all, but don't try them all at the same time. Just do one thing each week and go, okay, I'm going to do this. And then if it's not getting the results, obviously look into why, but maybe that's not the right tool or the right thing that you're doing, and focus on the stuff that actually energizes you, that's in alignment, that's saving you time, that's getting you results. Because like you say, there are so many things out there. Just don't feel you have to be doing all of them, because you don't.
No, there's no, I mean, there's lots of them that do different things, but there's a lot that have the same things that they can do. But
there is.
I'm sticking there's 3 that I'm sticking to, and the one that I just got done with was for lead generation, and that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, cool.
Just to get in front of the right people and everything. And so I've got that one set up. I've got done all the training for it. I'm getting ready to implement content creation.
Nice.
So that's where I'm getting back into ChatGPT and jumping on there and
just remember on that too, when you're trying to do too many things, you know, it's the person who chases 2 rabbits catches none. And you know, and I see it in our industry all the time. You know, there are so many damn rabbit holes that you can get pulled down, and there's always a new tool that's better, and you got to do this one, and you got to check this out, and there's this opportunity, and there's that, and you've got to be really good at saying no and just staying focused and following the fucking system. You know. And if you talk to Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, they'll both asked independently, you know, what is the number one thing that's attributed to your success? And they both said focus and eliminating distractions. And so that's another thing that will pull you out, is when you're constantly distracted in going off in different directions. So you've got to be really clear on what is your core business model and get rid of all the distractions, because it's actually taking you away. And it's actually going to have you get to your end game, you know, longer.
Yeah, and then the great thing too is, while I'm doing this, I'm coming up with ideas.
There you go.
I'm really zeroing into where my niche is, what I need to do, what I need to do to serve my people, and it's really coming together. So I'm super excited.
That's so good to hear, Dylan. And keep it simple, superstar, because it's the simple stuff is always going to be the thing that's going to win in the end.
And also, don't just think how far you've come in the last 6 months, man. You've come leaps and bounds. Like, It's awesome to see. Well done, mate. Well done. Thank you for sharing. Trish Howard, my awesome friend from Launceston who lives down the road. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Hey, guys.
Hello,
how you going?
Teddy Trish. How are
Good
you,
to see
beautiful
you.
lady?
Oh,
You're
I
like the
miss
best-
you.
We're Sunday besties, you know. You have
We are. We are.
Cool.
Thank you for today. It's been amazing. I've actually grabbed a couple of things from this as well as lots of things. But for me, the three main things that stuck out for me were get the BS out of your mind when it creeps back in, because we all have those times where
Yep.
you feel that it's not good enough. I can't do this. Rada. So, get that out of your mind, because that's not true. That's our own self-doubting.
Yep.
Excuse me, I'm a bit sick. When we're posting, what's the intention from that post? Are we just posting for the sake of posting, or what are we wanting to get out of that? I love that. So every time I post now, I'm going to actually stop and think, what's my intention? What am I wanting out of that? And thirdly, with ChatGPT, I love the idea, and I never actually thought of that, of if you're getting a post that's got really good interaction, repost that and change it slightly. I love that.
Yeah.
I really do. That's because there are a lot of posts I get that do have good interaction.
Yeah, repurpose it.
So
So
repurpose it.
good.
Love it.
Trish, I really thank you for sharing those 3 key points. I love just the way you communicate is so impressive.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I love that when you shared about what's the intention of what I post. I just wanted to share a real quick story around that. So we had one of our upline leaders prior to COVID in the old ownership of this company, and I was mortified. They were posting, and I'm sure you've all seen it, the post of, I've just unfriended this many people and blah, 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 and let me know if you're still here. And I'm like, are we in fucking high school? Like, how petty. It actually made me really angry, because I used to be one of the kids that was the misfits, right? I was never picked first when you had to pick the people to join your teams. I was like one of the last left at the end. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is like borderline online bullying.
Yeah.
And so I actually wrote a post. When you're sharing something, what is the intention of the post, and how is it going to make your target audience feel? Now, at the time, I was absolutely within this person's niche. I was actually one of their top damn leaders, one of the top producers, and he made me feel sick to the belly that I was just disgusted and was like, ugh, like it just made me feel so horrible. And it was in that moment I went, I've got to train people not to do these posts. Don't just like post for the sake of posting.
Yeah.
Is it adding value? Is it going to create entertainment? Like, is it engaging, and just making sure, is it inspiring? Like when I share my story of, going out on the jet ski or snorkeling or, the things that I do, and my intention isn't to say, hey, look at me, I'm living the dream life, I'm on another holiday, I've got a jet ski, you haven't. No, it's about inspiring people to say, hey, you too can have this. If I'm a single mum who's lost everything 3 times, whose husband left me, blah, 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 if I can create this lifestyle, you can too. Because when people read your content, you want them to be saying, me too, or yeah, I feel that way, or yeah, that was my challenge. Yes, I want that. So we've got to make sure that everything we post is intentional, because many marketers, especially in the network marketing field, I would say 90% of their posts are pissing people off and driving people away.
They're just stupid. Some of them just,
they are.
I don't get it.
Yeah, and I would actually go back for all of you, like write down this action item, do a marketing audit on your social media pages, and actually go back with looking through the eyes of your niche and say, if I was my niche, which is usually you 5 to 10 years ago, and I was in the head space, the heart space, and the state that that person is in their Sucksville or Caterpillar state, how are they going to read that post? How are they going to receive that post? How is that going to make them feel? Are you talking to them, or are you saying, look at me? Because that ain't going to work. Sorry, just want to share that part.
No, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense, because you don't want to be just spreading off the sake of it, because then you're going to repel people anyway. So you really need to think about what you're saying and how it's going to be received.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're most welcome, beautiful.
Awesome.
So good to see you, babe.
Love you and
Happy
miss
New
you.
Year. Yeah, same.
I love how coachable you are, Trish.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, Jeff's just taken off. So let's go down to the Brady Bunch screen. We'll go down to Shayna. How you going, Shayna? What's been your highlight from today's conversation?
I think all of it. Jeff, like what Dave was saying about coming from the heart, really your story, telling your story. I mean, you've got thousands of stories within one story. So that
We can break it up, right?
yeah, so that and yeah, the intention behind the story. Like I've noticed lately, I haven't been posting every day, not because I haven't wanted to, just because I have other things that I am doing. But yeah, just the whole lot, putting everything into its place. There's a lot of things like, you know, I want to do some culling.
Yeah.
And get rid of stuff like a lady that I'm talking with. She asked me about the ChatGPT, and I sort of told her. Then all of a sudden, she comes back with me, "Hey, do I want to look at this?" I'm thinking, no, no, I don't want to look at that. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, sort of thing. I've done a couple of lives because I went up to Mossvale. I don't know if anyone knows where that is. That's where my husband's working at the moment. So I went up there for the weekend, had a fantastic weekend, got some great photos and stuff like that. So I will put a post up with some photos today, but with a bit of story behind it, coming from the heart, and yeah, just the whole bit. So
Put yourself out there, honey. And the other thing I would say, and this is for all of you, not just for Shayna. So when Jeff asked me to be the guest speaker today on this masterclass, and he gave me the topic, I actually requested that we did this style where Jeff just asked me questions and facilitated and allowed me to just share whatever came out. Now, I could have spent 2 days preparing and doing a PowerPoint and creating, you know, this masterclass, but you guys are the magic. You guys are the magic. You have so much knowledge and experience and, you know, so many stories within you that need to be unpacked and shared with the world. You are the magic source. And so I think, again, you know, the old style masterclass with PowerPoints is people hide behind those. I would rather have someone, and obviously you can't prepare for this, but I mean, has this added value to all of you guys today? Like it has, right? I think you've all said you've gotten so much. And if you had you could all practice doing this and interview each other. Like, and you should all do that. Create a schedule. I don't know how many people there are in the group. Reach out to every one of them because everyone has a story. Everyone has value that they can add. And it's actually a real art to be able to both roles. What Jeff is doing today is fucking hard. Like being the facilitator, you know, and there's a lot of people who really struggle to be able to do that because you got to shut up. You just got to ask a question and then shut up and trust the person that you've brought on. So obviously, you know, you need to be mindful of that as well. And then the person sharing, obviously they can't prepare, and it's asking the right questions and having it go the right way for your audience. So, you know, obviously it can be a massive flop as well. But again, every master was once a disaster. Trust in the process. You don't have to be great to start. You just have to start to be great, because this format, as you've all found, it's real, it's raw, and it's actually catered to whoever's on the Zoom, because you're speaking from the heart versus having something that's scripted. And I think that's where people often get stopped and don't make that next level impact. So I love this format for that reason. And so, Shayna, I would suggest for you, you know, have someone else do this with you. Like Trish is amazing at this stuff. Like you two jump on a Zoom together and interview each other. Like, you know, one week do one, the next week do the other. You know, you can all do this because this is such an incredible gift to be able to add value in this way and leverage each other's skills and talents and stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yes, great idea. Trish, yes, I can do that if you like.
Kylie and I have done that very powerfully in the past, and it is massive value.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shana. Thank you for sharing. Now, guys, I am just present to, we're coming up to 10 minutes to on the half an hour. So totally understand if you've got to take off. But I do want to give Jeff, Larry, Jade, and Mike the opportunity to jump in too. So, Jeff, we'll come back to you, champion. Jeff Summers, what's been your key takeaway, mate? And what are you doing to apply that lesson moving forward?
Well, basically, my main lesson I picked up is be real and be vulnerable.
I love that, mate.
And if I'm perfect, I'm not real.
Yes.
We have been saying that all this whole last.
I love it. Because Jeff, no one is perfect. No one.
And that's my problem. We're trying to get it right.
Yes.
And I've been distracted so many ways, just trying to get it right.
Yeah.
Rather than doing. So now I'm going to have to start doing.
I'm so glad that now. I'm so grateful.
Can I'm going to be vulnerable right here for everybody who has suffered perfectionitis in their life. And so here's the thing, and this is going to be one of those heart moments. So it's a kick ass from a place of love. If you're a perfectionist, and this was me for years, and you have such high standards and perfectionism, I also want you to have a look, because you're probably judging others for not being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because how you are is a reflection of what you see and what you're projecting into the world. And perfectionism is actually an underlying judgment. So I say that with love to all of you, because before I went and did the Landmark Forum, I was the freaking highest level, highest expectation perfectionist, like ridiculous. But oh my goodness, I was also a judgmental bitch. And I would be looking at that person's not perfect. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Because if you're looking at yourself that way, it's your fear of judgment. And if you've got a fear of judgment, then you're actually judging others, and it might not be conscious. And this is an attack on anyone personally, because I know every single one of you has a freaking beautiful heart, or you wouldn't be here on this call. But I just want to call, remember I said we're going to look in the mirror and call out the BS. If you're being a perfectionist, then you also want to look at how are you looking, and you'll be judging others versus looking through the eyes of love, that people just are the way that they are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Jeff, said with so much love, legend.
Thank you.
And speaking from personal experience, believe me.
And that right there is just a perfect example of being a guide, right? You can't be a guide like a Sherpa taking someone up the mountain. You can't take Sir Edmund Hillary up the top of Mount Everest without having to, go do that track 100 times yourself. And that when someone's coming from that authority, that posture, that confidence, that position, it's because they're wanting to help avoid you or get you unstuck and get you around that, because they've been there themselves. And that there, right there, like sharing content from that value, that heart, that perspective, that's what people need in the world. So thank you, Kylie, for making that stand.
You're welcome, Alan. And for all of you, people will get so much further from you kicking their ass with love than kissing their ass. And, it's easy to kiss people's asses. It's easy to say, oh, you're amazing and you're this, da, 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 da. But, my bestie and I, we have this conversation all the time. We call each other out on our bullshit. And we do that because we absolutely care about each other and our lives and being the absolute best versions of ourselves. And, I did it to Jeff a couple of days ago. And I was like, no, I love you. And we're not going there. You are not going to have this, the space that Jeff was in. And I know that he didn't love that conversation at the time, but I also knew that I had to share that conversation from a place of love, because he needed that in that space.
and
And I
been
know
really
Jeff would do
raw.
the same for me.
And been really raw and vulnerable. I said to Kylie, I'm not in the space to hear this right now. I hear you, I get you, but I don't want to receive this right now.
And I'm like, and I love you. And
24
I'm
hours later,
message
Kylie knows
anyway.
me too well. 24 hours later, I've meditated, I've prayed into it, I've let it seep in. And she was like, I hate it when Kylie's so right sometimes. It's like, yeah, I've got to flip the script. I'm telling myself a story. I can either be right or I can let it go.
Love you, buddy.
Love doing life with you, Jeff. Jeff, do you have anything else you want to add to the conversation, mate?
Yeah, no, it was really good.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you.
Great to see you, legend.
My mate from the USA, Larry, how you going, champion? What's been your key light bulb moment from today's conversation?
Well, I think it changed. Originally, well, kind of both actually, because my original one was the need, and that may be what happened with my posts, is that one post may have really touched my heart to their heart. So that was the first thing I thought. But then when she just answered Jeff's response, I'm like, wow, talk about being called out. It's like, I won't even paint because I want to paint because I can't get past the part where my paintings look like crap. So I'm definitely that. So I think that has now begin my biggest takeaway from this whole thing. I'm thinking it's pretty up there.
Love it. Cool.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for sharing your heart. Kylie, you got anything to add to that, or we want to move on to Jade?
I would absolutely love to hear from Jade. I've been looking at Jade. You're in my bottom right-hand corner. And I'm going to be honest.
Jade,
I just
Jade
had
is
this
another powerful
calling that I
mum.
needed to connect with Jade. So
Hello, how
Jade's
hello,
are you?
lovely
mama.
lady. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you for today. I have taken, even though I slept in this morning and threw my whole thing out the window, I was like, okay, I'm still not missing this live. Yes, I can watch the
job.
replay, but I also know that you get so much benefit out of the lives, right?
Yeah.
So I've only missed a snippet in the
Well
middle when I dropped my daughter off at preschool. So
Nice. How old's your
but-
daughter?
3,
Oh,
almost
lovely.
4. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I've got a 12-year-old son as well. So yeah, so the biggest thing that I've got from this today is actually I never knew I was a perfectionist. And I'm not. In life, my house is a friggin' mess, right? Like, there's nothing perfect about anything. But when I apply something to anything that I'm working on, I actually realize I spend so much time on it
Yeah.
because I'm trying to perfect it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
And what does that do? It gets you out of your heart and into your head, right?
absolutely. So letting go of that perfectionism and just getting the content out there, like stop fucking being in your head, in my head. And that's what it is. I haven't been going from the heart. Like I've been so focused with this new branding that I haven't wanted to stuff anything up and what's my message. And I forgot who I am in the process of it. So yeah, so
And
this
you
is
know,
really
you could literally have like everybody Fun Day Friday and share your fuck ups, share bloopers, like what's been your biggest thing this week, and share that because it's relatable. People will be hanging out to see, oh, Larry's a legend. Like he does everything. He's so amazing. Oh my God, what's he done this week? Like people want to see that stuff because people, and look, your enemies and your haters are going to be hanging off there too because like, I knew it. And, you know, so pre-prepared that you might cop that. But do you know what? Every time a hater jumps on your post, that is worth gold because they will just keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's boosting the algorithm and showing more people and getting the conversation. And just don't reduce to their level, love on them, be great, reply, let all your peeps who love you defend you. Like it's just a beautiful art when you have a hater attack your post. And I know Trish, you had that at the very beginning, and at the time you're like, yes, that's great. And you're going, what? It's terrible.
It was great.
Oh, it's so good. Let's celebrate it.
I love it when it happens because you get more what's what I'm looking for. comments and inclusion, and people want to find out what's going
You
on.
love it
So,
now. You love it now.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I didn't.
I have
But I
to
didn't
add
at
to
the
that.
beginning.
I have to add to that. Because yeah, in the beginning, I mean, because we're all a team, with DTI, and we all just jumped on the Trish's background because both Jeff and me were dealing with the same
We've got
person.
you, sister.
I love it.
Don't mess with my family.
Beautiful.
I love it. I love it. It's funny. My son yesterday at dinner, we have a little thing that we do. So we all share what we're grateful for. We share the highlight of our day, and then we do acknowledgements. So we acknowledge each person sitting at the table, including ourselves. And it's just a beautiful, way that we can connect. And I can hear about the kids' day. Anyway, I think it must have been Zach acknowledged his big sister for being there to defend him when some bully was picking on him. And of course, Mama Bear was like, what? What happened? Who was it? Tell me his name. And it was just, just so beautiful that, he had this hater bully at school, and he knew that his family had his back and had his support. And, that's exactly what we've created in our community and Travel Tribe, which I just absolutely love.
100%. Well, thank you very much for sharing, everybody. Jade, did you have anything else you want to add to the conversation?
No, just thanks for the time. And just hearing your story like that really, puts everything into perspective, and it makes me realize what I've, been through. And
You've got a powerful story too.
Yeah, I just need to share it more.
Everything happens for you, babe. And
absolutely.
You can never see it at the time. It's only when you are however many years forward and you look back and you reflect and you can connect the dots. And, the part that I didn't share, and I think it's the perfect thing to wrap up the call with, is when I turned 40, I'd been introduced to this. I saw the video finally after 3 months of stalking from my very tenacious upline sponsor. So follow-up is the key. The fortune is in the follow-up. Don't give up. When I finally watched the video, it was 3 days before my 40th. And pretty much at the same time, and I can't remember what came first, but, within literally a couple of days, I had a phone call from my accountant to say overnight we'd lost everything. Everything that we'd worked towards in the fitness industry, $1.7 million literally overnight gone. Overnight, no income. And I'll spare you the details of how that happened, but ultimately it was my responsibility. And, we'd worked a gazillion hours and worked our ass off, and I'd sacrificed time with my family to build that so we could create the life that we loved. And overnight, and I was gutted. I felt like a failure. I felt like I'd let my family down. Ultimately, it cost me my marriage with my husband. And, I was a fucking mess. And literally, I was broke and I was broken. And I mean, really shattered in a gazillion pieces. I was like, I was Humpty Dumpty up on my wall on top of the world, and boom, just crashed down and shattered into a gazillion pieces. And so when I joined DreamTrips, I didn't really have a choice, because at the time I didn't have any other option. I didn't see any other way that I could actually fight my way out of the mess that I was in, to actually get back on track financially and to create the life that I loved. And, it was a freaking hard slog. I've been successful and hit the top in every single thing I'd ever done. And when I started, I struggled with DreamTrips because I was in my head. I was trying to run it like a traditional business. I wasn't in my heart. I wasn't just connecting and helping people. And, when I was a Girl Guide, I made a promise to do my best and help other people. And it's only when I tapped back into that and built this business from a place of love and serving that everything changed. And I had to get out of my head. I had to stop being a perfectionist. I had to stop judging other people. And honestly, when you lose everything overnight and all of a sudden you can't buy your kids Christmas presents and you've actually got to reach out for donations and help just to be able to get through when you've been the person who's always been there for, like, I got landed on my ass big time. That was a real reality check for my ego that I absolutely needed. And so when I share about, you know, perfectionism and judgment, trust me, I was the most judgmental person that I knew. And, you know, it's something that I continue to work on every day to be the best person I can, and to now come from that place of love, to look through the eyes of love, to seek to understand if someone's being a certain way, what are they dealing with? What's their life like? Like, you know, because everyone has their story. Everyone has their stuff. And most people are in a fucking broken mess.
Yeah.
Just different versions of that.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing that you take away from today's call, is just to look through your heart, look through the eyes of love, be open and real and raw and vulnerable, and share your heart. I promise you, everything's going to shift in your business. And hey, where you can leverage all these amazing online tools to save you time and leverage, that's even better. So Jeff, thank you for allowing me to share today. It's been so awesome to connect with everybody, and feel free to reach out to me, send me a private message, say good day, and yeah, just feel really, truly blessed and honored to be able to be on the call with all of you. So thank you for your time.
No, thank you. Thank you, Kylie, for jumping on this call and just adding massive value and speaking directly to our hearts. And if you take anything away from today's message and masterclass, it's that, right? Go out there, be raw, be real, be you, because nobody can compete with you. You want to get above your competition, go be authentic. And look, tools, strategy, systems, that's all they are really. But at the end of the day, your business is a reflection of you, right? Your AI ChatGPT mastery, it's a nail gun, right? To the carpenter, it's a spanner to the mechanic. It's just a tool. So use it as a tool. It's not a replacement. It's there to help you to be able to create a system to be able to help you to save time, energy, and money, be more efficient. So thank you, everybody, for jumping on this call, for making this an amazing masterclass and contributing like you always do. And that's a wrap. That is the last bonus masterclass for our ChatGPT Unleashed course. We've gone through the 9 weeks. We've done the 3 bonus masterclasses. So Kylie, thank you for bringing this home with a massive bang. Like right there, you get your money's worth for just that one class, right? So
Jeff, I just thought when ChatGPT first came out and you and I were resisting it like crazy, and this is so ironic because we did not plan this today.
No.
One thing that Jeff and I said at the very, very, very beginning was ChatGPT doesn't have a heart. And one thing that ChatGPT can't do is do business from a place of love with heart. And that's why we can leverage it as a tool, but it's still a reflection of you and doing business with love. So ironic that this is come full circle. I love it.
And a message I've been saying for the last month is AI plus human. So Tin Man plus the heart equals where it's right at.
I love it. Love it.
Anyway, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you very much for your time. And for those of you who are sticking around for the continuity program, I look forward to seeing you on our base camp calls. I will be reaching out to you individually to set you up with that game planning session so we can get you all tidied up and make sure that you've got your proven predictable system, whether it's either in place or you've less got clarity on what to do, and help you to get to that top of the mountain. Thank you very much for letting me be your guide. I truly, truly appreciate every one of you. I don't take this lightly. It's such a blessing to be your guide, to get you out of Sucksville, to get you to the top of Awesome Town. I said at the very, very beginning of this conversation, there we go, there's my phone. I said at the very, very beginning of this conversation that the transformational outcome result for each and every one of you was to get you out of Sucksville, where you're stuck. You had no clarity. You had no direction. You had no idea on the marketing fundamentals of what it takes to be able to market yourself and whatever business model that is, whatever vehicle you're choosing to drive. You now have the business fundamentals, the marketing fundamentals. You now have the tools, the systems to be able to set you up, to be able to go and run with this. And I can see each and every one of you being massive success stories. Your time is coming. Just keep continue to show and shine, continue to be consistent. And Kylie and myself will be there championing you every step of the way. And thank you very much once again for blessing me the opportunity to be your guide in this process. Hey, see you on the next one.
See everyone. Congratulations. It's a graduation. Whoop, whoop.
Woo! We'll be in
See you
touch.
guys.
We'll set up those game planning sessions. Bye for now.